I remember watching this movie called The Jab We Met, and Kareena Kapoor says this dialogue that जब भी मैं ट्रेन के पास जा रही हूँ कोई ट्रेन प्लेटफॉर्म से जा रही है. So that perfectly summarizes all our journeys and all what we want to do in life, right? You want to know that your career is not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? And every step of the journey has to be well calculated, and every next move, every next step that you plan on to achieve, that has to be articulated well.
Okay, so good afternoon, sir. Today we have a young entrepreneur sitting in front of us who started his journey at the age of 17, and he's the CEO of FAAD network. He's worked with Connecting Dreams Foundation and FICCI. So, sir, what were the challenges that you faced in your journey?
First of all, a very good morning to everyone watching this video, and thank you to Prowisdom Growth for having me here. It's indeed an honor to speak to all of you. Now, Darika, coming back to your question, the challenges faced. So, as you know, entrepreneurship, the word is synonym for challenges. It's not an easy-going path. And the challenges for me as an entrepreneur was just like what the other entrepreneur faced of having that dilemma whether to start this thing or whether to maybe go for the said path, which is a job and maybe a master's. And not coming from an entrepreneurial background with both my parents working in the service industry was another challenge, because when you don't know about entrepreneurship before you are entering into it, you don't appreciate the nuances and the intricate facts of it. So I remember when I started my journey, way back in 17 was just with a wave of magic when I ended up setting that company. I learned some bits of it of how to sort of give away money, and because he partied a lot after that. And when I started working and turning in FAAD, I learned about how to appreciate other people's journey, how to learn the nuances and the challenges that they face. So learning about them, learning about startups, what startup is all about, because startup is a recent fad. When I was 15, it didn't pick up that much. So learned about that, and traveling every day, shuttling every day for going to office, meeting people. So that grind, that hustle was another challenge in between. But in amongst all of these challenges, the result that I got up out of it, I'm very satisfied and happy, and look forward to achieving more.
Okay. And so, what advice would you like to give to the young employees and the college students?
So, the advice that I want to give, and I'm sure this advice is neutral to everyone who's not even pursuing entrepreneurship and who does not want to become an entrepreneur. This is an advice which is, I guess, neutral for all. This I'm saying because when it comes from the words of an entrepreneur, everyone assumes that it will be something on the entrepreneurship lines itself. But this is the fact is that a lot of youth and a lot of peers that I see today, they don't have that patience in them. So I remember watching this movie called The Jab We Met, and Kareena Kapoor says this dialogue that जब भी मैं ट्रेन के पास जा रही हूँ कोई ट्रेन प्लेटफॉर्म से जा रही है. So that perfectly summarizes all our journeys and all what we want to do in life, right? You want to know that your career is not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? And every step of the journey has to be well calculated, and every next move, every next step that you plan on to achieve, that has to be articulated well. So just that being patient was one thing. Secondly, being open to new ideas, right? At the end of the day, we all focus ourselves on narrow streamlines. Maybe go for a job, or maybe go for a master's, or maybe continue the family business, or whatever it is, right? But if you're open to new ideas, you don't even know how, as a personality, you can shape up to new challenges. So even for me, when I said that entrepreneurship is not something for me, but then I realized that entrepreneurs are not born, they are made, right? They're made according to challenging situations. So that is another challenge where I see. And thirdly is the hustle and the grind. A lot of us just expect very huge results within the short span of time, right? We want big funds, or we want to get the next blue collar job, or we want to get masters in an Ivy League college, right? So that is something that we have to sort of understand, that everything in life has will come at a point of time when you achieve that minimum hard work required in order to achieve that for you, right? So the hustle and grind has to be there in every field, not just entrepreneurship, in a job as well. And once you do that grind, once you start hustling, you realize you make mistakes, you fall back again, you realize them from the mistakes, you improve. It's a whole cycle, and once you complete that whole cycle, at the end of the day, you get the results. So that are my 2 or 3 short learnings that I want to share with the young entrepreneurs out there.
So, sir, how do you devote your time to your passion and your hobbies despite your work schedule?
Sure. So, for me, time management is something that I fuss about a lot, because I remember reading about this Mark Cuban's quote on time, that time is the greatest asset that we have, and this greatest asset we don't own. So this the asset we don't own, but we have to deal with it every day, and we have to sort of utilize this asset in a very judicious manner, right? So there's another quote, very interesting quote, which utilizes the importance of time. They say that everyone has 24 hours a day, but how you utilize those 24 hours is what makes the difference, right? So someone like an Elon Musk to any other student in your college would have the same 24 hours. But how do they plan to make the use of those 24 hours is what that matters. And I won't say to anyone, just work blatantly for 24 hours, become a workaholic and have that early burnout in your life when you are just starting up your career. It's say having a work-life balance is very important. And for me, that importance is something that I started focusing upon this year as my New Year resolution. So I sort of figured out that I will read about 20 to 25 books in a year. And I've read 10 in about 4 months, so already there. And I would also maybe listen to some soft music while traveling, since I get a lot of time while traveling. I'll also watch a couple of the Netflix shows, which a lot of my friends say that they watch and I don't get to watch about. So yeah, at the end of the day, time is very crucial, but just that utilize it in such a manner that you get the maximum out of it, right? Don't have that early burnout in your career, and don't even waste those precious years of your life, because this time of your life is very crucial, because you can experiment right now. You don't have a family responsibility on your shoulders. You don't have a high-paying loan that you have to pay out. You don't have your parents are not just retiring from their jobs right now, and you're not gonna become the sole breadwinner of the family right now. You're always gonna be supporting hand to your family. So this is the 2 or 3 years in your early 20s and your mid 25s is the time where you can figure out. And maybe if something clicks and you don't know where your journey next will be, where the next step will be.
So since you've read a lot of books, as you were saying, so is there any particular book which has inspired you in your life?
Yeah. So this book called Rich Dad and Poor Dad, essentially, I guess it's on everyone's list who wants to sort of break the rat race of jobs and house and all the family responsibilities. So it's a good book. At the end of the day, a lot of people expected from it that it will show a definite path to achieving the right money when you sort of retire and having not being stuck in a circle of paying loans all throughout. But it showed a way at the end of the day. It is all about changing a mindset. So for that very front, Kiyosaki really hit the nail on its head when it sort of divided our life into 4 quadrants of cash flows, and how it all panned out is something that really inspires me.
So, what are your services all about?
Okay. So at FAAD, we are working with early stage enterprises to help them raise capital from a network of investors. So we are working with startups who are looking to raise capital in the angel stage and the pre-seed stage. This is the 2 early stages of startups. And then we have a network of angel investors, some high net worth individuals, couple of early stage VCs, debt funding people. So we work with them, help close the deals for the early stage entrepreneurs.
So did you always have this in mind that you will choose entrepreneurship over a job, or was it gradually that?
That's a very interesting question. yeah, so how it all started was when I when I was 19, I was in the first year of my college at Cherry Sukdev College of Business Studies, and in second year you get to do a compulsory internship, in third year you get to do for a job. So first year I realized is the only thing where you can experiment with the couple of things. So I remember the company FAAD came into our internship fair, and I couldn't go to the internship fair, but I took the cards from the head of a resale. And I called up everyone. FAAD was the last one on the list. So the first lot didn't pick the calls, and FAAD picked it, fortunately. Sort of called them, had the interview, and I remember the first interview that I had went on for about 1.5 hours, and they grilled me on everything. They asked me terms like what are startups, what are bootstrapping, what are investments. I said I don't know any of this thing, right? And this is rocket science for me. This is completely new for me. So we literally grilled, and I started crying midway between the interview itself. I said I'll never come back to this place again. But yeah, how it happened was I gave it a shot. Started working with them for 2 months. I didn't write a single story. I was writing content for startups. I didn't write a single story. I said they will eventually kick me out. But no, they didn't. But I gained a lot from this. And that's when I realized that yes, maybe entrepreneurship can be that field for me. But if I leave all of this now, I won't be able to come back to that field. Eventually I can, but in the mindset, if you leave one thing, right, you can't come back to it, because in your mental battle, you've already decided for yourself that it is not for you, right? So I worked with them for then again. I got an internship period extended, worked with them for 2 years, and in the third year of my college they gave me a full-time offer, and that's when another challenge came with either to go for a job or a startup, right? Because in my college, people literally sort of go through the entire process of a group discussion, interview, entrance exam, went through the same cycle, got a good rank, and then not going for a job in CBS. And that is the very one reason that people come to CBS, right? You ask for CBS sites and they'll say they have 100% track record and they come for placements. And not going for that job, internally for me, having that reassurance and telling that to my parents that yes, I want to go for this company called FAAD, and it was very difficult for me to explain this situation. They didn't understand at the end of the day, but yes, that's how I decided, let's take a shot. Because at any point of time, you can switch from an entrepreneurship to anything in the world. You see people celebrate failures, people celebrate entrepreneurship in all around the world. But then quitting everything from a job and then becoming an entrepreneur becomes the challenge, right? Then becomes the challenge. So I said, let's give it a shot, let's see where life takes it. And I'm a huge believer of destiny. So say, there's time for everything. Here I am.
There in India.
So, in terms of international experience, I've been a delegate of India to the Harvard conference, the Harvard Asia conference. I've been a delegate at World Business Dialogue, which happened in Europe. And then yes, I've taught entrepreneurship at National University of Singapore as the guest lecturer. So for me, experience has been enriching. I still work with a lot of international communities. Through technology. Technology is the best thing which you can reach out to masses through this. So my experience has been very phenomenal in terms of dissecting the two different aspects of how Indian entrepreneurship ecosystem is versus an entrepreneurship ecosystem or a general educational system outside the world. So my tidbits around that is just the mindset. Indians are no less than what the foreigners are, right? You say almost 30% people of Indians work in NASA, right? So in terms of intellectual wise, it's not there, but just in terms of how resources are put together and how mindset is. So when I went to World Business Dialogue, I remember I worked with the Fortune 500 company called Zurich Insurance. In 3 days, I prepared an insurance calculator for them, and I didn't know insurance calculator. What was it? But they taught me, the mentors taught me, they helped me understand the differences of insurance in India versus insurance abroad. So that thing I sort of appreciated, and what I saw was the team who was working with me in preparing that calculator, they were very open to ideas. They did not look down upon someone as coming from a different part of the world, because everyone in my team was an European, right? So, and I was the only Asian in that team. So understanding my language, understanding my thoughts, my perception, how Indians see on insurance, they appreciated that, and we worked around a model so that we can incorporate everyone. In National University of Singapore as well, I remember when I started teaching them what startups are, what entrepreneurship is, how Indian government is supporting entrepreneurship, since I work with government as well. They did not give up. Even if they were not getting it, they asked me frivolous questions around it. They kept me asking follow-ups. They kept me, even after my session got over, I still get a lot of questions from them around that. And they kept on research. They knew the speaker, they knew the teacher well before he started delivering in the class. So that thing also I see is as this.
So it was pleasure talking to you, sir, and we believe that your insights are valuable for our company, and students out there would benefit from your experience and from your wisdom.
Pleasure to be here, and I hope all of us benefit from it. As I like to end this on a very interesting Bollywood line is, a lot of people say that अपना time आएगा, right? But अपना time कौन लेके आएगा, right? अपना time हम ही लेके आएंगे अपने लिए. So that, believe in that and make things happen.